Noeline Taurua, Silver Ferns coach. How does it feel to finally have that title after your name?
Yeah, I was the number 11, not that I'm Joan Alomu or anything like that, but, it's as I've sort of come to Auckland and things are starting to sink in, and I'm amongst a prestigious group, and 11 is not very many coaches who's been able to coach their country in our sport, and it's a great honour, not only for me but also my family as well. And I just sort of think, just like when I was playing, and when I first hit that the line in the first when we sing the national anthem, I think it will hit me. But it's such an honour to be here and to be a part of the Silver Fern and the brand.
Has there ever been a time in this very interesting journey to get here that you thought it might not happen, it just might not be your time?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of times like that when I think it's not my time, or it's not meant to be, and I'm a person like that anyway. I think, things happen for a reason, and sometimes even though you don't know at the time, you just got to trust that your journey or your life pathway has to be a different way. And it's, once again, even though I haven't been in the head coach role for the Silver Ferns, I've always had my skin in the game in New Zealand, and as a netballer in New Zealand, and I'm here and far out. It's cool.
It's been an interesting process, as I said. What has it been like to now get you to this point, the negotiations, and I guess coming back into the New Zealand fold, having been away for a couple of years?
The good thing about where I live, I'm only over the road. I always think it's only over the ditch, and it's only 3 hours. And I've got some great mates who are involved in netball here, and I continuously watch the game and very much interested. Obviously, with the Com Games being held in Gold Coast, it was just down the road, so I kept an eye on what was happening during that time. But I think once again things happen for a reason, and I'm here at the moment, and looking forward to seeing what's going to present in my life, and what I can do to contribute to the Silver Ferns. And I'm not really going to talk myself up or anything like that, but really excited to be here. And now that it's open, it's not a relief, but I'm really glad now that I can actually talk about it, and I'm here and I can make a difference.
You, and I think the rest of us as well, finally having this out in the open. I think last year Netball New Zealand had a coaching symposium. All the former Ferns coaches came in, the franchise coaches, and you were asked to come over and speak to that group. Was that, or did that play a part in, I guess, fostering a relationship again with Netball New Zealand and the people at the top?
I've always felt, because our sport's so small, we've all been brought up with each other. We all love netball, and with the good times rolls the bad times. And I think the biggest thing is that we want netball to be great, not only in New Zealand, but also for New Zealand to be great international-wise. So to be asked to come back and be amongst the other coaches was a great stepping stone, I think, not only for me, but also Netball New Zealand. But also it was an opportunity for me to get back with all my friends and for us to chew the fat and to be able to contribute towards what coaching is going to look like in New Zealand, plus also what strategy could be moving forward. So I've always felt like I'm friendly with Netball New Zealand, and we all have the same heart, and we all want the same in regards to netball being back on the world stage.
So it probably leads to where I was going to go with that time when you did miss out a few years ago and previous disappointments. Have you had any bitterness, or has that been challenging for you personally?
I think, well, once again, things happen for a reason. I think, with me missing out, obviously at that moment of time I was disappointed. However, you just keep going and moving on. I think it was at that time I was able to reflect on why I coached, what were the other things that I enjoyed about being a coach, and that was actually quite a good thing to go through. I had the opportunity to go to Southland and work with Southern Steel. The big learnings for me was that I went into a team that was already selected. So that helped me to think, right, with what I have, what can I do? It also gave me the opportunity to go to Sunshine Coast Lightning, to be amongst like Melbourne Storm, also to be based out of the University of Sunshine Coast. And I think to be lucky to be accepted amongst Australian coaches, and they're very staunched over there, and they do not let many people in their pathway. And I'm grateful for the opportunities that I've received over there. So, you know, it's always the same. When one thing closes, there's other opportunities. And, you know, like if I reflect, maybe I wasn't right at that moment of time, and that's absolutely cool. So, you know, it's quite funny now how I'm sort of presented now. And, you know, I'm ready now, and times have changed, and you know, the only way is up, and I'm looking forward to growing and learning as a coach and being challenged.
We better talk about some of the practicalities, because you are going to still be coaching the Lightning next season in Australia. How on earth are you going to do that?
Yeah, probably the first thing, if I can say, is I've got a really supportive family. Like anything, when you do commit, there's always the offset to what that means in regards to your personal life. So my family's been awesome, and when they knew their opportunity will be presented to me in regards to being a head coach for the Silver Ferns, this is probably the first time ever in their life that they've actually been happy about something. You know, they never are, and, you know, it's like pulling hen's teeth sometimes. So they were really happy and supportive and said, go for it. So the second thing that I'm really fortunate about is the Suncourt Super Netball. There's absolutely no clashes at all. So we don't start our competition until the end of April. When we have international commitments for this year, 2018, in our program we're either on annual leave or on active rest or on reduced hours. When I'm away from Lightning, very lucky that my assistant coach will be able to take over or be in charge. But there's absolutely no clashes, so I'm able to dedicate my time to both parties and to both programs and be fully committed.
So you feel like you will be able to give 100% to each of those programs, because they are both big jobs, but obviously for us in New Zealand it is the head coach job.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. There's been quite a lot of work and quite a lot of discussions that's gone behind the scenes, not only from Netball New Zealand but also Sunshine Coast Lightning and Netball Australia, in regards to making sure that it would work. Discussions have been had with the players as well. So I could never go into something where I'm going to be half-hearted or I couldn't commit fully. And thankfully the schedules aligned, and everybody was happy with the final schedule, and probably knowing what type of person I am and the support that I have around me in regards to all parties is very doable, and I will fully commit.
What about assistant coaches and captain of the Silver Ferns? Have you made any decisions on that?
In regards to assistant coaches, I think that links in as well to my short-term contract. I'm very aware of and acknowledging the coaches who are here and ensuring that there's succession planning, and ensuring that there are other options for Netball New Zealand in the future. So we're working through what those options would be at the moment, and hopefully by next week, in regards to assistant coaches, that we'll be able to name who those people will be. In regards to the captaincy, once again, that area is huge in regards to what leadership structure needs to take place within the Silver Ferns. And there's a process that I'd like to go through in regards to consultation with the players, plus also Jenny Wiley as a CEO, and look at what is the best structure for the Silver Ferns moving forward, and also who would be the captain. I think at this stage I would not like to rush into a lot of things. We have to learn about each other. We have to see how the group moulds together. And I don't think we have to be hasty to make big decisions like that. So I think one step at a time is all that's needed at this moment. And, you know, those in regards to captaincy and structure, we'll get to that space very soon.
It's a pretty quick turnaround till the quad series starts. It's hugely exciting, but where do you start? What's your first task?
Yeah, it's very quick turnaround, and I think that's why I love the challenge of it. It's because one is that I haven't been involved at the international as a head coach. So a lot of things in regards to the planning is very new, and I'm excited by that. It's something that I know I will grow out of the experience. How I think is the quad series and the Constellation Cup in 2018, I'm looking at as those on-court opportunities to test and assess our players live. It's a bit of a, not necessarily risk, but I think that's the only way we can go. You know, we have to be able to see what players can do against top flight opposition. The only way that you can do that is if you're on court. So we will be moving very fast. I'm not too sure how fast needs to happen. You know, there's a lot that needs to happen, not only on court, but also off court in regards to management, systems, processes. But I'm excited. I know by the time we hit our first game, we'll actually be not too bad. And hopefully we can progress and develop after each game and look to the end of Constellation Cup being quite a solid product.
The team that's been selected for quad series and the overall squad, one could presume you might have had an influence in there somewhere, but the talent and the players you've got to work with, what do you make of the group that will go into that quad series?
I'm excited. I think there's a fantastic balance between some of the players who have been there before and some of the new blood. I think New Zealand at this stage is in quite a healthy place at the moment because of the introduction of a lot of younger players into the BCO plus also the ANZ. Unfortunately, some of these young players, you can't just put them into an international arena and expect them to be able to perform. And the reason why of that is that they just haven't had that hardened experience. So when you balance that out with some nice, great folk who have been there, done that, who are very mature and experienced, then finding what that balance is out on court. So I would like to think New Zealand is in a lovely place, and we just got to be smart about how we work with players, how we care for players, and making sure that we perform at the end of the day. I think that's probably it, consistency and performance at a high level. So I can't wait, man. I just can't wait for our first training. I can't wait to be talking to the players, and I can't wait to see what we got.
You excited to get your hands on Casey and Laura again?
I'm very excited. I grew up as a younger coach with both Casey and Laura, and Maria came in as well. And I know them back to front as they know me as well, and the goods and bads. But, you know, they're game breakers. They have been there, done that. They're very mature, but, you know, their attitude is amazing. So I'm looking forward to igniting, hopefully maybe the flame in there, but also reuniting not only them, but also the Silver Ferns, and just seeing what we can do, putting it out there. I can't wait.
There's going to be a huge expectation on you now that you have this job. How do you live up to it?
I don't know if I live up to it, but I just live one day at a time and I breathe. Look, I'm excited. I'm very committed to the Silver Ferns. I'm very committed to Sunshine Coast Lightning. I want to be a better coach. I want to be open. I want to grow. I want to develop. The challenges that present to me here is amazing for me in regards to my development as a coach and a person. I don't feel any pressure at all. I'm excited by the end of the World Games. I know it's going to take a lot of work, but I also feel, man, you know, like when we get our song going, it's going to be absolutely beautiful. So I'm excited by what it could look like once we hit the Worlds. No pressure at all. I mean, not very many people get this opportunity, and I'm only number 11, and I would not want to miss the opportunity by being so freaked out or pressure or anything like that. You know, I would want to enjoy the moment and take everything on board with eyes open.
Noeline Taurua, Silver Ferns coach number 11, congratulations.
Thank you.